AB subscribers, my name's Brooke and I'm an Australian Boat Mags contributor. My good friend Peter Webster, editor of Australian Boat Mags, is going to show us how to set up our computers so we can download and view the online magazine. Over to you, Peter.
We're looking at a standard PC monitor. We've got Microsoft Outlook on screen. We've got a typical window, a list of all the emails that have come in. And we're going to look for our, there it is, December Australian Boat Mags. That's the email we're after. Now when we click on that, the next thing that happens is that what we call the red button letter comes into your PC. And it's pretty obvious that you click here to download the December PDF edition of Australian Boating. That's all you have to do. Once you click on that, it will immediately start to download. But about 99% of the emails go through perfectly and about 1% have a problem because for some different reasons the computers will knock out the actual pictures from the boxes and you'll get an annoying situation where you get this on screen instead of what we were just looking at. Now basically this all here, you just have to right click on the little boxes where it says download pictures, which we do, and then bingo. Straight away the pictures themselves come in. So remember that if you've got the blank screen with just the little boxes, right click on the box and that'll come back in as per normal. Now at this point we now click on the red button and automatically it'll start to download. The downloading time from us to you varies enormously with the internet connection in your part of the world. In some places where they've got high-speed connections and a regular sized magazine, it only takes 60 seconds or so to download, but there are many parts of Australia who are not so fortunate and it can be 2 or 3 minutes for the big magazines to come in and across that blue line to go right across the screen. So if it's not right across the screen in a minute or so, don't worry, just as long as it's moving across the screen, it's coming into your computer. And we now have the magazine sitting in front of us on screen. But here's the important part. At this stage, it's like television where you're looking at the TV announcer reading the news. He's not actually on your TV, he's reading an image from the television station, and that's the same here. You haven't actually loaded this magazine into your computer, it's simply reading it back on our website. So the next thing we have to do is save it so that it becomes yours permanently. To do that is easy. We go up to the download area, the save area. It brings up another window, and in that window we have a file name, in this case AB241. I know it's December issue, and for later filing I'll make it so that it is shown as December issue so that I can easily pick it up in the folder further down the track. And then we just make a decision as to where it's going to be saved. This is really important because remember, you're going to get 12 of these every year, and sometimes you want to quickly go back and look at a particular magazine. I recommend really strongly that you have a specific folder for Australian Boating Magazine. Most people put it on the desktop so you can get it in a split second, but a lot of people put it with their column of My Documents. In this case, there's our folder Australian Boating, and it's on our desktop. So we'll put it in to Australian Boating, and there we go. We save it. Now, see down the bottom left-hand corner here, it's now flashing. Yes, it has been saved onto the desktop and into the folder. Having loaded the magazine now into our folder on the desktop, next trick is to go to the folder, open it up. There's our magazine. Click on the magazine. There it is on screen. And we can see straight away that it's a little bit too big. It's 140%. Now to change that is obviously enough, as simple as clicking on the minus button, that's 125%, and bringing it back down until it's a nice comfortable size. In this case, it's a size I like too, 75%, which means you can see the whole magazine on the screen. There's a couple of other tricks to learn. Let's go now up to View. This is going to be how you set up the computer to look at the magazine in the future. We go down to Page Display. You can see Single Page View, Enable Scrolling, which should be ticked, Two Page View, which we'll come back to, and the very important one, Show Cover Page and Two Page View. Now, these are all important and have different functions. Let's go back up to the top, Single Page View. There it is there. And when you're in this view, you're just doing one page at a time. It's also important to note, this is the page, the system, most people like to actually read the magazine because your eyes are just focused on the type area in front of you. And it's just one page at a time. Now, if we go then back to view, we have page display again, and this time I want to go to two-page view. Now, if I do this straight off like that, it's all backwards because the page here with the advertisement should be on the right and the page on the right should be on the left. And there's a reason for this, and it confuses people quite a lot. They go to the contents page all over the place. See there, again, it's wrong. What we have to do in view is go to page display, two-page view, and the critically important one, show cover page in two-page view, which we now do. Bingo. So remember that it's quite important. Page display, two-page to view, and show cover page in two-page to view. One of the great things about a PDF production like Australian Boating is that we can just use the system to go through the magazine in milliseconds. For instance, if we can see the Nissan Patrol down there, we want to have a read of that article. You can see it's on page 104. So what we do, we just go up to the page box, tap in 104 and enter, and there's the article. The same thing works in reverse. We want to go back to the contents page, which is always on page 2. We put in page 2 and hit enter. Then we go to where we want to go to next in the magazine. For example, let's go and have a look at this spectacular Beneteau, which was on page 22. So 22, we hit enter, and there we have it. The fantastic new foiling Beneteau. Again, go back to the tours. We want to go back to the contents page on page 2, hit enter, and there we are again. Now, in some of the big books, this is really important because you can have 200 or 300 pages of book to go through, and that's why it's important to learn the right procedure to going through and backwards and forwards through the magazine. By the way, here's an interesting tip to change the text size so that it makes the magazine even easier to read. If you go up to the top here, we can see it's 76.7% enlarged. But if we click on the plus sign, it goes up to 100%, which makes it that much easier to read. And you can keep going up to 150%, whatever really suits you. The important thing is that you can do it so quickly and it's so easy to change. If you have to change the page area at the same time, you can either use the mouse wheel, which is quite effective. You can use the page down key and change according to, just to get that text in exactly where you want it on the screen. It's completely adjustable, and take advantage of it. One of the exciting things about Australian Boating magazine production today is the use of videos throughout the production itself. Commonly we'll have up to half a dozen videos in a given magazine, but it could be a lot more in the busy times of the year. Now, the videos themselves are really easy to use and fun to drive. All you do is click on the play icon, which you can see here in this picture. Then sometimes a box will come up asking you whether you want to allow the video to proceed. You just tick allow and the video will start straight away. Now, there's two sizes you can have, the standard screen size shown here, or what most people do is flick it to the full screen so it's just the same as television, because in fact that's what it is. Now, this is a feature that we love in the magazine. It's becoming so popular, it's going to be there increasingly in the future. So much so we actually now call it Magavision. So there's something to look at. It's so easy to use. Settle back and enjoy the ride. There you go. I hope you found the video helpful. Don't forget though, if you have any other queries about how the magazine is produced or why you've got things set up, or for that matter, if you just want help with issues about the boating world, don't hesitate to contact the office. We're here to help. We're here to make sure you get the maximum benefit from your boating with Australian Boating Magazine.